Hello, welcome to the Leadership Advancement Mentorship Podcast, the podcast in which we learn a lot about leadership, mentorship, and I'm so excited to have you even with us today. Today, I want to share something with us, and this is going to be a series, part one and part two. Now, I want you to pay attention to this special content. What I want to share about today is something very unusual, most unusual. And I want you to get it because this is going to change your life. Now, I'll be sharing with you today on what I called failure is a terrible thing to waste. Failure is a terrible thing to waste. Wow, I know you're like, what do you mean? What is this all about? Yes, you had me right. Failure is a terrible thing to waste. You see, we live in a time in which people are wasting failure. I know there's so much conversation around conservation. People are talking about how to conserve energy, how to save against waste. Waste is something that is very, very common. But I want to tell you today, the greatest of all waste is people wasting failure. There's been so many dramatic transformation, so many dramatic changes in the society today. People have succeeded in turning waste and into products that are of great value. And that's what we want to talk about today. How can you turn something that look like a waste into something of a great value? This is what we want to see. This we want to see. And I wanted you to know that you can turn your failure into fortune. Many great men, many great women that we celebrate today, they have succeeded in turning their failure into fortune. All you need is a different mindset. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you how we can do this. Now, listen, I'm not talking to you as a philosopher. I'm sharing this with you as a practitioner because this is how I live. I've been able to turn a failure into something of great value. Now, really, and to really get this right, the real failure is when you don't learn from it. There was this man that was working in this big company, and he was charged with he was entrusted with responsibility to make great decisions on behalf of the company. So one day he made a big mistake, and there was a deal that was so much money, millions of dollars. And this man was feeling so bad for himself. And when he walked into the office of the chairman and the CEO of the company, he couldn't even look at the man in the face. And he just went inside and sit down with his head bowed. And the man said, "Look at me." And he just told the boss, I said, "Well, I know I made a lot of mistake, and you'll be right to fire me." And the CEO and the chairman of the company looked at him in the face. He said, "We just invested millions of dollars in you, and you think we're going to lose that money to another company? We're not firing you. We still have you right here. And we believe what you learned from that failure can help this company." And that's what happened. What he learned from that failure helped him to be of great asset to the same company. Now, have you heard about this company before? Data? Yes, you heard me right. Data. Have you heard about the company before? Many of us have not heard about it. Now, interestingly, the company I just mentioned, Data, was the first company that was established by Bill Gates, but the company never succeeded. It looks like a failure, but what Bill Gates learned from that first company that didn't succeed was what he turned into success when he started the Microsoft that has gone to become a global phenomenon. So the question is, so how can we turn failure into something of great value? Yes, because failure is a terrible thing to waste. So one of the things we can do is what I call leverage. Now, the word leverage talks about use something to its maximum advantage. The word leverage means to use something to its maximum advantage. So how can we use failure to its maximum advantage? So let me give you the acronym, because we're looking at the word leverage. Leverage means to use something to its maximum advantage. So the acronym that we're going to use, how to turn failure or to something of great value, that means using failure to maximum advantage. We're going to use the acronym leverage. So I'm going to spell leverage using each alphabet to really tell us how to use failure and turn it into something of great value. So the first L is L. The first alphabet is L. Learn from setbacks and learn from setbacks and embrace growth. Yes, we have to learn from setback and embrace growth. Someone said setback is a setup for a great comeback. Setback is a setup for a great comeback. So we have to learn from setback and embrace growth. So when it seems as if you fail, so the first thing you have to ask yourself is, what did I learn? Now, listen, if you didn't learn something, then you didn't fail. That's the truth. The real failure is when you didn't learn something. That's the real failure. So you didn't fail because of the scoreboard or whatever. I mean, the bottom line, that's a short-term thing. Failure, the real failure is a long-term thing. The people that failed in life are people that didn't learn from that experience. Think about President Abraham Lincoln. His story has been used as one of the real inspiring story that have inspired people all around the world. How he went for this, he failed in business, it's as if he did this, but everything was adding up for him until he became the president of America today. There's so many people that have given up along the way. So the first thing to do to avoid making the terrible mistake, because we're talking about failure is a terrible thing to waste, that how can you turn this waste into something of great value, is to learn from your setback and embrace growth. Use your setback as an opportunity to grow. When Edmund Hillary went to the Mount Everest the first time, he didn't make it up. He didn't make it to the top. He went back home and he told himself, he put the map of Everest, he put it in his office and he looked at it. He said, Everest, Mount Everest, you have stopped growing. He said, because I am still growing, I'm going to go back and I'm going to climb you. And that's what he did. So you need to do what Edmund Hillary did. That's what he did. So you have to learn from your setback and embrace growth. So the second alphabet in this acronym is E. Embrace resilience and bounce back stronger. You need to embrace resilience and bounce back stronger. I did a session. I did a special content on resilience. You can check and check this podcast, previous podcast. You can, I think this is like 2 weeks ago when I talk about resilience, and that was a very good content. You can check it at Dr. Michael Koku at my YouTube channel. You can get just type resilience. It's going to pop up, and you get something. And when I talk about how to be resilient on purpose, so that was using the acronym purpose. But today I'm looking at that E, embrace resilience and bounce back stronger. Now, how do you embrace resilience? Now, when thrown against the wall, you can either be an egg or you can either be a tennis ball. And like I said, I already did a content on how to become resilient on purpose. You can check that one out. on how to embrace resilience. So that's the second alphabet: embrace resilience and bounce back stronger. The next alphabet we're going to look at is V. Visualize success amidst challenges. Visualize success amidst challenges. Albert Einstein said, in the midst of every adversity, there's an opportunity. In the midst of every adversity or difficulty, there's an opportunity. So you need to visualize success amidst challenges. That means in the midst of your challenges, you need to visualize success. I remember when I was in medical school, my first main exam that I did, I didn't make it. It was very challenging experience for me. But you know what? I began to visualize success. And one of the things that will help you to visualize success is you need to read success books. So I began to invest in buying success books. Instead of just reading only medical books that I was doing before, I was reading success books like Think and Grow Rich. I read another book by W. Clement Stone. Books that begin to enrich my mind. I begin to sow seed of success intentionally into my mind. Books on success begin to help me to visualize success. So you have to visualize success amidst challenges. So in the midst of that challenges that I went through, this is like 26 years ago, I was embracing success. I was visualizing success. It becomes so real to me. And things, instead of looking at the obstacles, looking at the limitation, I was visualizing success. So my vision changed because of the information that I'm putting into my mind, the success books that I'm reading. I remember one time, one of my colleagues asked me that, oh, what time do you have to read all the success books? You didn't even have time to read all the medical books. I said, well, we always have time for what we want to have time for. I said, I didn't know this before. All I was doing is just medical books. But right now, as I begin to read success books, I begin to visualize success. And guess what? I came up with a blueprint that I used for that exam. And I came over it. And I was able to pass it and cross over to the clinical side. And that's how I wrote my first book ever, Understanding Medical School. From what I learned, from my ability to visualize success. Guess what? Last year, I took the book to the next level by writing the second part of the book. This is the second edition, the 2.0. This is after so many years, like 23 years interval. Now, what do I want to share right now is many people have been blessed by these two books, especially by the new one. Many lives is going to be changed because I choose to visualize success amidst challenges. Now, the next alphabet is E. Embrace feedback and fuel improvement. You see, feedback is the fuel of improvement. Feedback are the fuel of improvement. So like I said, when it seems as if you fail in a particular adventure, so there's some feedbacks that you need to get. You need to embrace those feedbacks. It's like it's giving you some feedback, some messages. So you need to embrace those feedback and use it as a fuel of improvement. And that is very important because feedbacks are fuel. These are things that can be used for you to improve, to become a better version of yourself. This is what all great men and women have done. Anytime they are faced with something that looks like failure, they embrace the feedback and they use it as a fuel for improvement. The next one we want to look at is R. So you have to reframe failures as a stepping stone. You have to reframe failures as stepping stone. So like I said, the way we view life is the way we're going to do life. So begin to reframe that failure as a stepping stone. Now, this is how you do it. Now, the word fail itself is an acronym. It means first attempt in learning. Wow, you get it? Fail means first attempt in learning. So that is reframing. Change the way you see. To reframe means to change the way you see things. Because when we change the way we see things, the things that we see changes. That's what Wayne Dyer said. So we have to reframe failures as stepping stones. Don't see failures as a setback. See it as a stepping stone. This is so powerful. That's what Thomas Edison did. They asked him when he was making the light bulb that, how many times did you fail? He said, well, I didn't fail the 10,000 times that I did it. I only learned how not to do it, how it will not work. He never gave up. He persisted. So the next alphabet that we're going to look at is A, adapt strategies and pivot with purpose. Adapt strategies and pivot with purpose. Like I said, that's what I did when I failed in the medical school. I have to adapt strategies. I begin to look at the strategies that work. I begin to talk to people that have succeeded. I begin to read books on success. I begin to do a lot of interview, a lot of investigations. From there, I begin to adapt the strategies to pivot with purpose. I became more intentional. And that led to me not just passing the exam, but having something to pass on, to pass over. Now I have like 2 books to pass over on that. I mean, this is an upgrade to pass over to the next generation. Because I adapt strategies and pivot with purpose. And that's what Thomas Edison did. He was adapting strategies. Whenever he used something like a filament that doesn't work, he would get another one. He was adapting strategies. And he was pivoting on purpose. And that's what the Wright brothers did too. Before they fly the first plane, they were adapting strategies. They met a lot of resistance, but they keep on adapting strategies and they were pivoting with purpose. The next alphabet is G. And this G means grasp opportunities within obstacles. Grasp opportunities. That means to grasp means to seize. Opportunity means an open port. So in order not to allow failure to become a waste, in order to turn failure into something of great value, you need to grasp opportunities within obstacles. In every obstacles, there's a seed of opportunity. Most of the time, what people see is the obstacles. They don't see the opportunities. That's what differentiates the rich from the poor. All the poor sees is the obstacles. They see many reasons why they can't succeed. But what the rich is looking for, just one reason, one opportunity. And that opportunity begins to double, triple, and multiplies like rabbit. The last alphabet we want to look at is E. Empower yourself through perseverance. This is very important. Like I said, I mean, this, when I think about this, I think about Thomas Edison. I mean, that's perseverance. You were doing something, checking the right filament almost 10,000 times. That's superb perseverance. So you have to empower yourself through perseverance. Like I said, this is the first phase of this teaching. And I'm going to continue from this by looking at the second part. Don't miss it. It's going to be great. So what we talk about is failure is a terrible thing to waste. And we've shared on how you can leverage failure and turn it to something of a great value. And we've used the acronym leverage. So this is what we said, and this is what we learned today. We talk about L, you have to learn from setbacks and embrace growth. The E, you have to embrace resilience and bounce back stronger. Then the V, visualize success amidst challenges. And the E is embrace feedback and fuel improvement. That means use feedback as a fuel for improvement. And then the R is reframe failures as stepping stones. The next one is A, adapt strategies and pivot with purpose. The next one is G, grasp opportunities within obstacles. And the last one is E, empower yourself through perseverance. We continue this series next week. But before that, I want to encourage you to sign up for my upcoming training. I'll be having a leadership training, a leadership development and personal growth training all through the month of May. All through the month of May, Saturdays in May. So May 4, May 11, May 18, and May 25. There's going to be a very powerful leadership training that's coming our way. It's called How to Leverage Failure for Personal and Professional Growth. How to leverage failure for your personal and professional growth. Don't miss it. And to sign up, I'm going to put the link in this podcast. And if you want to get it, it's eventcreate.com. eventcreate.com/e/leverage failure. eventcreate.com/e/leverage failure. That is how to register for the upcoming leadership training and personal growth. It is going to change your life. Don't miss it. You can register now and save your spot. It's going to be 4 weeks. There are 2 classes. There's going to be 1 class in the morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, US and Canada, Eastern Standard Time. And there's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US and Canada. It's 90 minutes per class. It's 4 classes, but it's very, very great, very transformational, and you will never be the same again. So till I meet you next week, this is Dr. Michael Koku, and signing off and letting you know that don't allow failure to be a waste. Failure is a terrible thing to waste. I'll see you next week. Thank you.